Bitrate is struggling at the start here. Hello, everybody. I don't know why it's throttled my upload so much. T-Mobile upload's gotten worse. We love that. I'm gonna tab over as soon as we can to this, to the banger here, because we got a bit of a banger going on right here. On stream. Kittens, behave. I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. Okay, we're here. We're so here. Hello, hello, hello. All right, give me 5 seconds, and then we're gonna be in. Okay. We have an advertisement. We love that.
Position. What is the answer for Gen Z? They have a bowler shot here, obviously, or rather on defense.
Wait, no, that's not what I want.
Perhaps close to the Kitsune rush. That's something to keep an eye on. And just get in there and
OWCS.
find an easy pick this time. Last couple of fights have been very good for the Tracer.
Are we going to be commentating? A little bit, yeah. Let me get my earbuds plugged in here so you guys don't have that go. I'll explain the importance of this match to my understanding. And then hopefully we get replay codes like last time. Hey, Turum. So basically, if I believe this is for fighting for Stockholm, the last place in spot in Stockholm for the tournament. And both of these teams are not expected to make it. I think Virtus Pro 100% the favorite here. But Virtus Pro lost to Gen G. Hello, Explosions. And so this is Team Paps. But now the irony here is that Gen G upset Virtus Pro, and it's looking like Team Peps might upset Gen G. So this is spiced out the cheeks here. And I've been crying because I had a coach prior to this. So I'm like, between sessions, I'm looking over, I'm like, oh shoot, they're actually, oh shoot, they might, oh man, I wish I could be streaming. So we finished our coaching, which was a lot of fun today. And now we get to go into more fun. So this one, I'm actually kind of invested in the result here. Because obviously I'm pulling for Backbone, but I've also coached Dip a while back. And so this is really exciting for me to see. And so I'm pulling for the underdog here. But obviously, it's going to suck seeing Backbone lose. So I don't want Backbone to lose, so I don't freaking know, man. Oh, good disengage from Gen G. However, Peps do get the disengage, the flip. As in, they can pull the card away into a map control advantage, and as long as they can live the beat engage and the Kitsune engage, you probably open Kitsune if you're Gen G. Yeah. And they can maybe disengage that and then use that to steal cart. But still a pretty good result for Peps. Support ult for support ult, and then they stole cart. It's not bad. And then they can rotate, flip high ground, use their high ground advantage, and then Kitsune down. And as long as they can keep their distance, it's going to be really hard to beat engage up on the top. Hi, Kitten. Come on, you can sit on that for a few minutes. Wait, they played 4v5? I didn't know that. First round. Okay. Still, that's rough. Kitsune should be used here from Zerion. I would use the Kitsune here. Okay, I guess I misunderstood. I was looking at blue here. Okay, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, that's big. That's big. Can they live? 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 Yes, they can. I did not watch Create today, no. I train early in the morning, so I don't see it. Or earlier in the morning. No, Mantra. Thank you for asking respectfully. Interesting, Queenie. Knitting sounds relaxing. They kind of just let Sim charge up for free there. That was really strange from Peps. I don't know what... Okay, so they're going to flip the point again. I didn't see what happened with the what is the freaking hazard ult called? I didn't see what happened there. But they could just... They could just take top here, to be honest. Oh, they're going to... Okay, they're going to flank. Always Steam announcement image targeted against me. double slide comes in clutch there. It's just really strange. Like, all these flips are really hard to stay cohesive with, excuse me. But that trade absolutely favors Gen G, I think. I think I value... Well, okay, to be fair, they got the cart back, but... I think you play slow for Kitsune here, because it's easier to layer beat on top of a Kitsune trade. This is tough for Gen G, man. What do you do? Oh! No! Worst case scenario! Okay, I guess Tread gets DMAC. That's huge. Oh, no! Dip! Dude, Dip has been so sticky today, man. Dip has had so many big pulse bombs today. I was able to watch some of the previous round because I was helping Pepper with something before my next session. And all I saw were just like 2K pulse bombs, man. That was really, really insane. Like, that was a crazy start for Gen G. My goodness. I don't even think Tread getting DMAC. I mean, I don't know. I honestly didn't see, but... And now Peps can just park it. They could just park it. They're going to have to teleport to high ground, yeah. But they don't really have anything to push that here, right? They don't have a sim wall to push it. They don't have a beat engage. They don't even have a Kitsune rush if you'd even want to do that. And Peps doesn't have an ult advantage here either, necessarily. So Peps doesn't mind playing it slow. Like, that's one thing is if you have an ult advantage, it kind of feels bad to let the enemy team farm their ults. But, like, we're farming beat, we're farming OC, we're farming pulse bomb, we're farming Haz ult, which is not the best ult, but, like, this is like a net neutral. And so they're going to take top with Zodial and with ult, which is definitely a really good play. Suzu's used, disengage. Can he live? They're able to disengage it and drop underneath. Can they pursue afterwards? The Kitsune comes in awkwardly. I don't know. Like, I would have preferred Pepsi to just full... Oh, no, beat has been used. I don't think you Kitsune this. OC is kind of like a Kitsune rush, quote-unquote, counter, because you have to respect it so much, it's really hard to play in a specific location. It's just important to disengage or hide, or all in. And Kitsune doesn't really do either of those things very well. You either beat Kitsune, Sojourn ult, or you disengage it, or you sim wall it or something. But that being said, beat used there is really quite bad here for Peps, or for Gen G. So Peps can kind of take a fight here, try to force out Kitsune with Sojourn ult. Did they set it up at all? Okay, this is fine. This is fine. Can they disengage that? Can they disengage that? Can they disengage that? They just need to not lose on the angle there. The angle is a big deal there. Okay, so they don't lose the angle. Sim wall's out. We have beat. And then now we take an honest fight with Kitsune. Do they disengage that one too? They do. That's really bad for Gen G. They need to get something out of this now. And then we should see a beat engage pretty soon-ish. I wouldn't even mind a beat engage into a hazard ult here. But they need to beat. Ha! Ha ha! Really, there it is. Hazard ult's used, that's it. Wow! Unbelievable! Perfect last little bit there from Peps. Incredible bit of team play strategy there. Very difficult there for Gen G. Obviously, I'm sure they could have executed on their play better as well if we looked at it in the replay code, but they did exactly what they needed to do. What's up, Paul Fi? I take credit for the team losing. If the lane is too tight or narrow, then you probably should have chosen the other lane. But yeah. That beat was really bad from Crispy, agreed. But that wasn't the only problem here. I missed the first several minutes, but they were already at a disadvantage at the start. Say we're unbeatable. I mean, I don't really care when players say that, to be honest with you guys. When players in clear, good, fun banter, I hate when people hold that over the head. It's just funny. Nobody's actually, like, I don't think there's a single team in OWCS in the West right now that is actually, like, toxic ego. That, you know, that kind of stuff happened occasionally way back in the day, but I rarely, if ever, see that. My bad, Jacob. Sorry. He jinxes it? Nah. You're just fragile glass. Incredible play there. incredible play, and really unfortunate. Like, obviously, the real question is like, what happened with Zodiel? Like, he must be sick. He must be sick. So if you guys don't know, like, he's like, Genji's probably their best player. He was lagging. Oh, that sucks. But definitely not the way that you'd want to win for Peps. But the good news is that Peps did play well. Like, Dip had a very good game. The layering stuff from Peps was, like, solid. They played well. They looked, from the little bit that I saw, it wasn't like it was handed to them. They approached fights really intelligently, and, you know, you got to give credit where credit is due. Peps at a LAN is indeed crazy. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, like, even if there's, like, okay, so the way Overwatch works is it's like, Overwatch is like, external factors and unrelated factors will have impact because they're distractions, right? Like, maybe Zodiel being a lag means that there's less pressure output, which means a lot of these team play decisions and communications are a lot harder to do. This mindset of that, like, oh, Zodiel was lagging, that is completely unrelated with, like, team play issues, is, like, not really true. Those things always trickle into other ways. It's really distracting. So, yes, exactly, Sarah. Does Genji go to LAN anyway since her partner? I don't think so. Who's playing next? I don't know. Who is playing next? Is Freya not good now? I mean, she's not good in ranked. Yeah. Oh, TM and Alcad? Nice. But yeah, crazy. I got a message Dip. Hang on. I'm sure he's excited. Frick, where is he? Okay, it's been too long. I actually don't even know where he is in my DMs. I feel bad. Where would he be? Would he be in Commander X's Discord? There's too many dips. I haven't messaged him in like 6 months. I gotta find his Discord tag. I think this is him. Oh yeah, I got him. Yeah, I found him. The bird's nest somehow got bigger. Yeah. Crazy. Well, that's fun. The upsets just continue, my friends. That's really good for viewership. It's fun. I like upsets, man. Feel bad for a backbone in the gang though. Sucks.
That would have been a value bet, Johnny. Any regrets?
Okay.
3-0, it's boring. I guess. I agree with you, but if it's an exciting 3-0 and they were close maps, the last two, at least the ones I skipped in, you have to appreciate that. Is it an upset? It's not a major upset. I don't think the gap between Genji and Amari, get down. Between Peps and Genji was like massive, but yeah, it's definitely an upset. Get down. I know, she doesn't care. She's looking for something. Is there anyone that you recommend I watch who streams a lot of Repo and is really good at them? Not off the top of my head, no. You could probably YouTube it or Google it, see if you can find somebody. You could probably find it. Who's my goated Overwatch? I don't know, man. I don't think I have a unique take there, to be honest. Probably just like Lip, Violet. Anyone who's just been consistently good, provided immense value for their team for a long time, and has proven themselves off of multiple metas, multiple years, and multiple roles. Or not multiple roles, multiple heroes.
So let's chat a little bit about what we've seen from both these teams and also
I'm not fence sitting if I don't have my answer isn't educated enough to know. I don't think it's really hard to answer that question enough as it is, but also it's just I don't know, man, like of all the clips to choose, that's kind of funny. I just don't have like an educated take. I'll gladly give you my firm opinion on something that I actually feel like I know, but I don't know. I'll say this. This is definitely a hot take. I definitely disfavor early Overwatch 1 players. I like people like Fleta and so on. Not because I don't think that they're like great, but I think that like the level of the play was just so much worse. And you can't even really like use the argument that like I just think that like I definitely favor players that have had more time to cook and that have dominated at both early game Overwatch and late game Overwatch, you know? Like Fleta was really good, but then like there's so much competition right now that you kind of need a person that was like not only good but has remained good, you know? And Lip has been good for like 6 years, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and by that metric, I also don't recency bias players that have only been amazing in the last couple of years. Like I don't think Junbin makes the cut for me. Like I don't think he's been around for long enough. So like if you could prove yourself, I mean everyone was like, oh, Lip's the Sombra OTP, and then now Lip is also just the AIM OTP. Okay, Lip is also good at Cassidy. Lip is also good at Widow. Lip is amazing at Sojourn. Lip is good at the Sombra stuff back in the day. Like I really value a DPS player that is able to shine on a flanker as a hit scan, and vice versa. You know, I wouldn't say he's insane at Tracer, but he's one of the better hit scan tracers. Yeah, he's passable on Tracer, which is, you know, it's free real estate, you know? There aren't very many raw aimers that are at least passable at Tracer. And by passable, I don't mean like he's mid. I'd say he's mid at the Overwatch League level compared to Tracer Specialist, that's pretty impressive. Fielder, Shu, Chio. I think Fielder's really good, but I think I've been unimpressed by Fielder off and on. I don't like his Kiriko a lot. I think his offensive output at times has been kind of questionable. I'd probably choose Shu. And I think I might choose Chorong over Chio. But that is also an uneducated response as of the last year. I've always preferred Chorong's flexibility and consistency, but I also don't always favor winning. I think winning, being on good teams is important, but like winning is way too RNG focused. It's not as RNG as it is in like other sports with Overwatch, but winning is very RNG. It just objectively. So being part of a good team that had a chance to win is not RNG. There is not a way to schedule weekly coaching, but you can just copy and paste the answers and just not, like, you don't have to have every form nuanced. You can just be lazy. Yeah, it's a team game. Yeah. Players don't magically get better or worse. It's all contextual. It's all like culture. One good player applies more pressure, which opens up more opportunities for other players, and so on. Is Proper the best tracer currently? I haven't watched any Korea. Proper is, if I had to choose like one GOAT from like modern times, Proper is definitely like, I think he's probably the only player from the last 3 years that you could unequivocally have in the GOAT conversation. I don't think he is the GOAT, but he's the closest to a contender for the GOAT conversation from somebody that's only been kind of a new gen. I think even over Stalker, although Stalker is also a really good player. He's just always good. Like, Proper is just always good, and he's another one of those he's like Lip with probably like not, I would say not quite as good hit scan aim, but like so good on these flankers like Tracer, Genji, and so on. Was Striker one of the best tracers in Overwatch League? Yes, but Striker's a perfect example of what I'm saying when I'm saying like he just never did anything in the new gen of the game, and so I do value that against him in the same way that I don't overvalue Proper. Because I think the skill level of the game has improved. So, like, obviously skill is relative within sports and esports. But I think the difference between sports and esports is that you have the opportunity to scale up. Like, your body doesn't get old. Your interest may not. I mean, you can't really blame that. But, like, I value players that have been able to adapt to the new game a great deal. Yeah, stream is buffering. We're back, though. We should be back. Hang on 1 second. 1 sec. Chat, hang tight. You're a robot until now? Yeah. Yeah, it bit rate went down the toilet. I think we're back. I think we're back. Yeah, sorry, apologies for that. We should be back. How good is Infected? He's great. He's a great player. Uh-oh. We're out again. Yeah. Let me check my internet. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. We might be back. Hang on. Yeah, I mean we've got 4 bars, so I don't have we don't have fiber where I live, so I had Spectrum for a while, but Spectrum is complete horse manure. Gave him so many chances to fix my thing, sent like and never fixed it. And then so now I'm on freaking 5G, which is just kind of a train wreck, but it's somehow still more consistent than Spectrum. I don't even know how that's possible. But yeah, we're back in theory. I think we're okay. Goucher could be one of the GOATs. Yeah, I think Goucher is an example of a player that's been consistently good for a long time. My problem with Goucher is, from my understanding, I don't think that he's been dominant on as many characters. I think he's had a really good Doom, correct? Winston and Doomfist, I believe, is the best Brig player ever from Overwatch 1 period. I mean, I don't think there's a single player in Overwatch 1 that wouldn't get gapped by an Overwatch 2 player objectively. The question is was the gap between the best Brigitte player and the second best Brigitte players bigger in Overwatch 1 and Overwatch 2? And that one's hard to say because she just plays so incredibly different. You know what I'm saying? So I would say that like when you have people like Chio or whatever back in the day during the Winston Sombra, I think that might be the biggest gap that we've ever had. Immediately was Chio during the Winston Sombra Tracer meta. I feel like the gap there with his Brigitte was really, really, really high. But then we've also had different Brigitte metas and so on. So that's why it's tricky for me, because it's like, oh, objectively, this player's better at their character, but it's subjective. But then also, was the gap in Brigitte's really that big back in Overwatch 1? And I just don't think so. Do you not agree that a player's ability to get wins over the line under the biggest lights is a very important part of being the GOAT? I partly yes and partly no. I think the whole clutch mindset is completely overrated. I think people way overvalue people being clutch. They don't actually even understand what clutch means. There's no such thing as a clutch gene. A clutch gene is you aren't as big of a choker, but even that is total RNG. The most clutch players that I've worked with were players that just kind of played consistently the same, but they didn't clutch. They just kind of played the same, and sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. You know? What's the stat about, like, you know, Michael Jordan missing the most game winners in the world? Like, people pretend that, not you specifically, but there is like I want to use your question as a springboard, where like people like think like there's like this magic clutch gene. It just doesn't exist. Like there are people that perform better under pressure because they play closer to their normal output, you know? But the reality is that like that's basically it, you know? I think one of the more clutch players that I work with is Shax, because I think Shax was more consistent of output. But we lost a lot of games with Shax because he missed a pole spawn. We lost a lot of games because Shax died first. Not because he choked, but because it happens, you know? Because I think, like, if you're looking at, like, what are the clutch players that when you need it, they're there? I don't value that. Like, if you're there, or you're not. And, like, half the time that people are just looking for the person that gets the kill feed light up. You know what I'm saying? You know? So.
Quickly mention here, though, for the people who've missed it, like, it was the entirety of stage 3 pretty much a Psycho in the mix over Yugi. They didn't.
I'm not saying that clutch doesn't matter. I think clutch is more of a, you don't want to not have the clutch gene. You don't want to be a choker. And I have worked with players that are absolutely chokers. But you know that not just from the championship. You know that from freaking any situation. I mean, I'm not going to tell you who the chokers were, but I definitely have worked with chokers before. Handling your nerves has to be a major factor? Yes, but I guess one of my point is that there are a lot of players that handle their nerves well, but it may not show and when it matters. It's still, okay, it happens, you know. Or they do handle their nerves or it looks like they don't, but they did, you know. People way overestimate aura, I think, in both real sports and esports. When reality, life isn't that sexy, you know. People are like, oh, he's a champ. He's got that GOAT mindset, which is just kind of silly.
Stage 2, you can just go back to stage
Is there a way to improve it not choking? Yeah, put yourself under pressure
right? So
and force yourself to do your job as best as you possibly can, regardless of the results. Don't change. The biggest thing to not choke is to perform the exact same, or to focus on performing the exact same, no matter the stakes.
what the meta really was.
It's the same kind of equivalent of like a tightrope walker walking on an inch of grass versus a tightrope walker walking over the Grand Canyon. In theory, the action itself doesn't change whatsoever. It's just the consequences of failing. And so like that's kind of where it's really difficult.
We're big on that.
The stakes increase your nerves, which means that your performance is distracted.
Here being like, all in. Did you go all in, Matt?
Did you bet, Jake? You said you pull up Twitch before we went live here.
A lot of the best clutch players I've worked with are actually very aura-less. They're just very ho-hum. They just show up, they do their job consistently. It's the Stephen A. Smith era of analysis. Yeah, because everyone wants their hot take. Everyone wants to make content. So all the people with big mouths and with very little understanding of sports psychology have opinions. And those opinions get amplified and then parroted. And Stephen Smith, I think, is a great example of that. But more than just that, like, it's just like, I'm not saying that he's an idiot. Of course, I'm just saying that, like, that type of analysis, even as somebody that doesn't know as much about sports as he does, you could just tell it's just amplified by, like, this mindset of like, oh yeah, you can just tell you just got this aura, you got this thing. It's like, it's fun. It's like, did you guys see that Baker Mayfield tweet for those NFL things, or that that quote where he was like making fun of like the media for making fun of him for being like, or not making fun of, but like, oh, he's got that aura, he's just got that dog, he's just, you know, he's like, dude, I've had this dog in me since I was like a rookie, and you guys said it was attitude and fragile and needed to shut my mouth, and because when I wasn't with a good team, it was a bad thing, and now that I'm with a good team, it's considered a strength. He's like, make up your mind. What is this, a bad or a good thing? You're just judging the result and then interpreting the personality, like your hindsight interpreting that. Like, and he's like, I've always been the same person. You guys have just decided what it was, you know. So it's like, that's kind of like a great example of kind of what I'm talking about, right? Like, where it's like everyone called Hottie a feeder until Hottie had a better support line or a better DPS line. Did things change from 2021 to 2022? Yeah, of course they changed. Yeah, absolutely they changed, but not as significant as you think. Like, not as much as you think. Like, really. Clutch is just simply the ability to consistently execute the action. It's not execute the action well. I know clutch players that are not even very good at the game because clutch is always relative to your appropriate skill. You get what I'm saying? Clutch is to be able to perform the action at the same level that you normally perform it. And if you're a professional player, that should hopefully be decent. Hottie has high aura but in game, he's just like pretty chill. I would say Hottie's the most clutch player I've worked with, but Hottie's relatively clutch. And encourages clutchness because whenever I work with him, he's pretty measured and consistent and calm in matches, which helps other players to be clutch. Newest map? Cool.
These lower thirds, that's
crazy.
People are gonna think. I mean, yeah.
I think my brand is getting tanked at the moment. Okay, well, I mean, that's the way it is.
I mean, if you checked your follower account to mine, there's no way.
He's an idiot who acts like one for views. I mean, I don't even know if that's the case. Okay, so I'm not gonna say who, of course, but there are people in the content scene as a whole, outside of Overwatch, and certainly inside of Overwatch, and just in the gaming sphere as a whole, who get a really bad rap for their personality and their attitude being like amplified and obnoxious. But I actually don't think the person is generally that obnoxious. What happens is they act in that manner. It does well for content and views. It stirs up controversy or gets people talking or gets like-minded people that feel strongly as that person does. And then that kind of behavior gets rewarded. And so then that person learns to emphasize that type of their behavior. It's positive feedback loop over a type of behavior that is rewarded in the content. And the scariest part about it is a lot of times the person doesn't even realize that it's being reinforced. Nice, Swag. Congrats, dude. So it's like, it's actually really interesting. Because I actually will know the person, or I've seen them outside of the content sphere and they're like completely normal. but they did that one couple of videos or whatever where those did well, and all of a sudden it's like, oh. So, for example, Stephen Smith might be a pretty reasonable dude, but that one hot take he had 20 years ago that blew up on ESPN or whatever, he's kind of leaned into that since then, you know? Like you? Yeah. Yeah, the unhinged, like, kind of loudness, it's fun for me, and I think some people like it, and so, yeah. Like penalty kicks in football, most professional strikers score them for fun and trading. It's highly favored for them, but during matches, the fumbles happen more often. Yeah, 100%. Because if you think about, from what I understand about football, doesn't it usually favor the kicker? Like, it's more about the kicker not choking and less about the goalie. Because the most I've seen with the goalies, it really is just kind of RNG. Like, the goalie can choke technically as well, but, like, the goalie is just more guessing and hoping for the best. So it's not really it's harder to choke as a goalie. You just kind of see what happens. The skill ceiling's higher for kicking, I feel like, in that situation. So there's more opportunity for error for the kicker than it is for the goalie. Am I correct with that? I don't know. But in which case, yeah, you'd 100% make sense. I'm talking about Hunter. I mean, even Hunter, right, definitely amplifies certain parts of his personality. This is the exact same thing I do. Hunter's not like that all the time, you know? Flow state, when you think about our break from pressure, fix it greatly. Yeah. Okay, let's kick it. How's the volume, guys? Is the volume okay? Should I turn up just a tiny bit?
I think this Wu Young battle is going to be huge here between Funny Astro.
Alcad, Twisted Mind, Zarya Mirror. We have a Hazard Ban, which is probably a character that's decent on more open maps. I think Hazard maybe is just developed. Wuyong because of Lucio Ban. Kiri Wuyong. Who banned Lucio? TM. Because they're probably... Wow, it's interesting that they banned Lucio. Interesting. I guess Ast... No, it's not. It makes sense, because I think Aster is more confident in his Wuyong than Kellex is, no? I mean, they're both very well-known Lucio players, but I think Aster just trusts his mechanics, his off-angling. I want you guys to only hear it slightly. We talked about the Freya. Both of these teams, we've kind of seen a real migration away from double flex at the pro level. And I think part of it's done to hero pools, but yeah. Off-angle max and Twisted Minds is just really, really good here. Aster does get punished, but the angles are still, like, amazing. That's what I figured round square, yeah. From the penalty kicks that I've seen, I don't know how you could react to that.
It's really difficult, and Kellex was trying to get some emergency healing over to Ziad.
Yeah, this is tough for Alcad.
In time, I think it's because he was getting pressure.
Who are you guys pulling for? I don't know who I'm pulling for. I mean, I'm a Landon fan, but I'm a Psycho fan as well, Astro. I don't even know who's the underdog here. You'd say TM, but, like, TM is pretty spicy recently. Checkmate? Yeah, Checkmate's great. Florida Mayhem. OG. Kitsune versus Wuyong ult in this circumstances heavily favors the Kitsune. Unless you get a Kitsune rush on the backline, but the problem with that is that unless you connect with Wuyong, it's really hard to connect a bubbled tracer onto anything, because you've got Suzu, you got teleport, you got recall, you got bubble, you got everything. Oh, good to know, Apolify. Angle from Lepta, really good. A lot of early pressure on Zarya. They're just burning through it when Yolt is used just to keep him up. And he's going to use that to combo with Grav. It's good! Kitsuda's used the layer. Can they keep TVNT up? No, they can't, but they don't need to, because they just need to use that opportunity to retake the angles. The angles are missed, though, because Checkmate's marking the outside. Duels were lost on the flank, and that one felt like that should have gone TM's way, layering aside. Should have been more selling of TVNT. Let the guy die. He did his job. But the duels in the flank were lost, and unfortunately, we don't know what happened there. Frick.
Some of the members there on Alcatia by just getting TVNT low enough to finish off as Simple actually gets a first pick. All right, so
yeah, it's freaking out. Yeah, it's not you. Hello, guys.
A little bit of value there, but not enough to keep Alcatia in the driver's seat. Simple eventually falls. Checkmate can certainly stall this out, and in fact, that's really his only option. But it'll be a chase down. He'll have to give up his life for this, which doesn't put Arcadia in a
Can you guys hear me okay?
contest, and they don't have the mobility to get there. Not with the ball.
I don't know. We're continually dropping and then coming back with no particular reason.
Matchup here to kick things off is TM. I think it was Zoe and Jake who were talking about it, but like Simple about how good
We're back.
he has been a few fights there, Mitch, where Simple is able to get first pick on the Curie. The back
Apologies, guys.
Twisted Mind,
No
just
idea.
so offensive focused,
No idea what's
offensive
going on.
minded, right? Being able to come up.
Can you give a basic rundown on the comp? Yeah, I mean, Lucio's banned, so a lot of the rush stuff that's better in this map is bad. Zarya is strong. And then they're going to find, like, the best support comp that works on that map, which is just going to run Tracer, whatever, you know? So you run Freya because there's more space for Freya to play around Zarya than there is with Soj. It's really hard to build up charge versus Zarya. That's basically it, right? Zarya is strong. Wooyoung is decent. Lucio is banned. Kiri's good. You off-angle fight. Like, there just isn't... The big thing here is, like, Zarya is the kind of the mover or shaker in terms of, like, deciding a lot of the meta stuff. The only question that you would see is, like, okay, why aren't they running, like, Ram then? Because we've seen some teams running Ram here. And it's pretty much just because Lucio is banned. Although you could also argue that this support comp is also pretty hostile to Ramattra as well, where, like, you have a lot of off-angling with Freya Tracer, which can be difficult for Freya to deal with, or for Ramattra to deal with, so... It's also hero pool as well. Ziad, TV, and T are really strong players at these respective roles. Quartz and Lebda are very good at their hit scan roles, very little flexibility. Psycho, Checkmate, good at Tracer, so like they've got the comps for it. So I definitely dropped, Justin. I saw the thing tanked, but that's interesting. Nope, the weather is not bad. How long do you think it would take the average player to start? Let's just say start from like silver, whatever. Probably about 1.5 years, 2 years if they're really good with it. It took me about 1.5 years, and I trained very, very, very efficiently.
Not an overstatement. Even now, with Wooyoung's being tuned down a little bit, Bunny Astro's been able to put out a pretty
Off-angling,
damage. Staying in
prioritizing Tracer, good Landon. Tracer's really flank heavy, but this is also a difficult map for Tracer. Quartz gets the angle on Kelix. That's unfortunate. That Suzu or Bubble should have been there. I don't know what the split looked like there, but that felt like way too early for a Frail to work as well as it did. But thank you, Cosmic. How are you? Having Zodial internet, yeah. I don't know, man. No idea what the deal is. So, okay.
but they do not look favored in this matchup at all. Twisted Minds have them
If your tank isn't able to take much space,
over a bar. I mean,
you off angle. There's always an angle with Freya. Even if it's not a deep flank, you have verticality as a bit of an angle that you can use with your updraft. It can be challenging because you're not as flank heavy, but you can still do stuff. Tracer's still lurking in the back. Psycho is.
I think TVNT is grand aspirations for the grab.
The angle's there. The Kitsune is there. The Kitsune is mirrored. Pulse bomb is really scary, though, and there's a lot of sight lines in this map that can cut off, but the pocket from Wooyoung is good. The Pulse does miss, though. TVNT dies, but again, it's probably should be enough if they don't fumble the... Whoa! 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 No way, 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 no way. Astro, no! Astro, that was kind of sloppy from Astro, but that was actually insane clutch there. So the difference there is that Twisted Minds let TVNT die and just kind of hold the space around him, which is what we needed them to do in the previous round. Because you still have the space, you know? He's going to go for backlight. This is a big slam, actually. Do we get anything out of that? We get a lot of Matrix, a lot of blasts. There's the Wooyoung ult to use. Doesn't connect with anything. Astro gets the wave off. Will probably die, but at least it'll take some time. Nope, Suzu comes in clutch there. Checkmate needs to hit the pulse here. Does not hit the pulse. He does hit the pulse and disengages. That's actually insane. I don't know how he lives that. There's actually no way that he should live that. Checkmate, that is. That's crazy. That's actually such a fumble from TM. They had everything that they needed there. I mean, I guess the Wooyoung ult definitely makes things more difficult, but it didn't really connect here. If the drop YouTube off the ledge like Spartans, well, see, the problem is that like we've done YouTube for so freaking long, you know, like it's a lot harder for me to co-stream nowadays. Like I have a whole thing, so like it's a lot harder for me to selectively turn it off. He has a clutch team. That's it, right? Good, Queenie. Well done, well done. Diva's used just because for the faster retake here, but this does mean on a very flat map that matchup can be challenging. The good news is that they have the Kitsune. They're almost a double support ult, so situations where Diva can be strong is in these early aggressive fights where she can close the distance. So as long as TVNT is unable to catch these engages, case in point, then he's going to get murked. So that's a really unfortunate trade, though. That's a really unfortunate trade. TM can actually disengage this and re-engage pretty simply, no pun intended. They're going to go Diva. I think they up the quote-unquote tempo of this retake. We've already got point pressure applied. We'll probably see the Kitsune used on point. And then maybe the Wuyong ult even used in response to catch the engage. Quartz hits a shots and checkmate off screen. That's a big deal. Zeot's got to try to disengage this. I think if you're Alkyd, you let the point flip happen. Yeah, they're going to let the point flip happen. And then Zia just needs to get his bomb. And he does get his bomb, only just so. He should get the remake. He does get the remake. And so far, Alkyd's looking okay, but the problem is that there's just too many layers. Can they connect with Wuyong? They can. The Suzu does not hit, or it does hit. I thought it missed there. And then that, oh man, this is actually so good from Alkyd. Like, TM should still win this, but this is actually incredible stalling. Yeah, it's just not enough. Alkyd just didn't have enough tools, I don't think. Don't think. Yeah, it should be enough. But that was actually really impressive. Like, Alkyd was able to live a ridiculous number of ultimates there. Double support ult, Freya crap. It was close. TM looking good, man. The Wuyong crap, the off-angling, min-maxing, just basically everything looked a little bit better there for TM. A lot of off-screen deaths, which is the nature of, having these more range comps with all the heavy flanker stuff. But it's kind of worth highlighting because that's the kind of stuff that emphasizes stuff like better poke from Astro, better shots from Quartz, Psycho taking the duels here and there, and then little things like simple hitting body shots, headshots, Suzus, and so on. But yeah, from the little bit that we saw, pretty close match, all things considered, and yeah, so far.
It is, well, I mean, Funny Astro actually a little bit less damage there than Kellex. It just felt like Kellex was always like they were losing.
Oh, did I miss any questions? Anything crucial?
The deaths were just so poorly timed that they were not able to.
Is this a case of margins? Yeah, this is what I was talking about, where like that really could have gone either way. Like one fewer of those off-screen deaths, and Alkyd could maybe squeeze that one out there. You're gonna kiss Quartz? Nice airdo. Does team have another tank player? I don't know. They do. Is KSA still kicking around? It'd be weird to have TVNT and KSA in the same team, though. No? Maybe KSA is like the Malga specialist or something. Thoughts on double wave perk here? I mean, I think it's good. But there's a lot more dive stuff, so the double wave is useful. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not convinced that there's a really clear and obvious answer for Wuyong's perks anymore. I'm not planning on reviewing any matches from Korea, but if you guys think I really should, and if I have extra free time, we might be able to do it on like Thursday or something. Team slept on in the brawl fights. Yeah, because don't forget, it's not the healing rewind that's useful. It's the amp that somebody in chat said. It reapplies the amplifier when it comes back and hits. So it extends the amplifier by like an extra 3 seconds. Main support DPS from a flex one? It's just vernacular. Main support is Lucio specialist, because that's how it used to be, and that's kind of how it's always been defined since then. Hit scan is just they play the pokey characters, and that's kind of how it's always been. That's it. Overwatch is comprised of a tank player, a long range DPS specialist, which is usually hit scan but can be Hanzo, Freya, whatever, and a short range DPS specialist, which is Tracer, Genji, Sombra, whatever. And then you have your long-range DPS specialist and your long-range support specialist and your short-range support specialist. It used to be that the only short-range support worth playing was Lucio, and then the only short-range support worth playing was Brigitte. And so nowadays, if there's ever a Lucio Brigitte in demand, you're going to pick that guy that has experience playing those characters, and then you're going to pair him with a more ranged support. Now, sometimes you have 2 ranged supports, in which case you're going to put your short-range specialist on the one that's easier for them to play or where they have a little bit of experience. For example, I think Kiriko is a little bit more challenging and requires a lot more timing and angling and specific mechanics, so you're probably going to put your specialist, at least in this current implementation, your range specialist on the guy that has had more reps on Kiriko. The terms are just really confusing and out of date, but yeah. When did that term ever come to use with Lucio? Literally 2017. Main and flex support was like a 2017 term where you'd only play Lucio and then your flex support would swap to like Ana or Zen, basically. This is before even Overwatch League. And the reason why that term doesn't work is because technically now that we have Brig and Lucio and you can play Wuyong Kiriko and whatever, it's like your main support is also flexing, but yeah. The only definition that you really need to understand is more along the lines of not even the definition of why do teams run Lucio Brig all the time, or why do teams run Tracer a lot or Genji a lot. It's really helpful to have a short range DPS and a short range support and then a long range support. It just helps you to control different types of space. Yeah, main support is not the one that has the big healing output. No. People have tried to twist it into like main support has utility, but flex support has more damage, or yeah, it's meaningless. Or you need a boop to be a main supporter. Like it's meaningless. Yeah, if you try to fit random terms like backronyms, I like to call, not really. I try to fit definition. It's pointless. You're gonna go crazy trying to fit definitions. The definition is that we want to support Lucio specialist, and usually it's those people are also gonna be playing the other short range supports. Do you think there's a more modern approach to rules? I mean, the more modern approach to rules, which also applies to the old type of roles, is short range specialist, long range specialist. Now, if you want to come up with a better term than that, cool with me. I've not put any effort into thinking about how to call it better, but that's still applicable today, where it's rare to see a meta where you have 2 range DPS and 2 range supports. Generally, it's not good for map control. And usually when you do, it's because those heroes are overtuned. Yeah, the meta is completely in flux right now. The meta is far from settled right now. We very rarely see a settled meta anymore with how fast patches are done and also how balanced the game is, which is overall it's pretty well balanced. Which hero complements Juno as another support? So anything that can also have a little bit of range is useful. Or pocket her, but she's pretty flexible. Juno's fairly flexible. I mean, the obvious answer is like something like Brigitte, because, you know, you can have that support onto Juno so that she can do things, but Juno's pretty flexible. Juno Lucio, Juno Kiriko, so yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Like I always thought that the hazard was so.
There's something like, I think YouTube runs on like a small delay, so maybe it's why it's not as big of a thing. I do VODs, yeah. Did we have another dip there with the stream? I might have mipped it. You need a boop to be a main support is such a funny criteria to come up with. Well, it's partly true because if you think about a close range character, they are more likely to have a boop. So it kind of works if you think about it, but it's not the only criteria for a main, like a short range support. Like it's probably good to have a boop if you're getting your hands dirty, but yeah.
So like, yeah, it's very, very good here. Now, Checkmate probably descends Sonic and makes a switch.
The old role definitions. I mean, the old role definitions work for people that understand what they mean. When I think about flex support, I know what people are trying to say, but I'm not actually thinking about the word flex. I know what they mean by the word flex. It's more like it's like not a metaphor. It's like a, what's the term for that, guys? Not a metaphor. Term of speech. My brain's so cooked nowadays. Not an analogy, no. It's it starts with an A, I think. Starts with an A. Figure of speech. What is it? A. I'm gonna have to Google this. I'm gonna go crazy. Idiom. Yeah, it's an idiom. I think it's not an A. It was a vowel though. I think it's an idiom. Yeah. We don't really mean main or flex anymore. So. Do you think the new melee-based hero will change much? What do you mean change much? Like change the game? Or their design will change? I kind of like the D.Va here. I think the Zarya is like okay in first point-ish, but the verticality of second point is really good. Like really, even on first point, there's enough verticality to avoid the Zarya much more so than the previous map. So. Yeah, we're just probably going to see more of the same. Kiri Lucio, because both teams like Kiriko Lucio, and now there's no ban on Lucio, so teams will run Lucio, so they have short range control here. This is definitely something that, like, if you were to see this being played versus, like, let's say a full sniper comp that you'd see in ranked, you'd see a lot more hiding and pouncing from this composition, the D.Va stuff, Kiri Lucio. But you could still play Kiri Lucio there if you're really pounce maxed. We don't have any news in the summer. Can I ask you a question from the gank chat? Yeah. Yeah, I overall, I do think I like the D.Va more here. I think I like the D.Va a lot more. I think it's hard to leverage. It's too easy to avoid Zarya, I think, on this map. And I think you're kind of seeing that right now, where if you look at Ziod's damage... now, to be fair, Zarya does do well the longer the fight goes in theory, because she'll get more charge, but... Yeah, so I think that was more of a messy push there from TM than anything else. Do you think a support should replace... Yeah, please stop. Is D.Va strong and ranked currently? I don't think so. She's like kind of middling. Flex DPS are now called short-range skirmishers, effective melee. I mean, yeah, skirmish versus poke would probably be a better description of how they function. Because, you know, whether we're talking about Venture or Tracer or Sombra or Genji, Reaper, these are all characters that are played by the Flex DPS role. So, unless the meta is weird and you have two of them, but is practicing mechanics quickly still fine or only rank? I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I just find the problem with quick play is more psychological, where people just generally don't give it their full, even if they don't realize it. I think having some form of mild stakes does make practice more effective. Okay, we're listening in. Hang on.
We've grabbed him one.
Yeah, actually, we can just let's keep pushing top. If you wanna use, yeah.
Yes,
They actually swapped grab, sorry for the retake here, which is cool.
Dropping now. Okay.
Bobbin and 5.
Yeah, just use your side, Baba.
It's really hard to get grab value here, but they can force peak for a long time.
슈퍼 위에 에너지.
It's at the Freya Tracer to poke the Zarya out.
Zarya drop back and sorry glove Zarya, okay? Protected.
I booked Milan, I can be.
Yeah.
Test low.
Need to back now.
Yeah, I beat now.
I wanna pop.
Swing.
Frey low. I go into.
Okay, I'm flipping as well.
Swing for the rotate.
Yeah, all under.
Come from here, come.
I'm sitting top, guys. Big man together now. 3.
Yeah, swingman.
Nice and glove Zarya, get out the
Swinging on main, probably here.
fucking Zarya.
Zarya, so now just
Hit me.
Zarya die.
That's okay.
Tier 1
Again, I
behind.
think the grab did enough.
Kill this.
You guys kill, yeah, there's one bar.
That's good enough. Like that, you force the resources with the grab so you can get the execute. As long as you don't lose map control. And they didn't. That was really well played by TM. They had no ults, no nothing. Just very patient. Well, they had grab, but very patiently off-angling, controlling the off-angles, slowly shooting the Zarya forward. That was really well played by the entire team, to be honest.
Yes, now you see that it's going to be high ground control for Twisted Minds right off.
I'm not a fan of the mask event. I don't know if I dislike it conceptually. I think I do. But I'm also biased because I think the event was just not executed that well. I think being forced to have to do certain combos with certain characters to get the events, which I guess is the point of the group up, but it also felt like a lot of them were just kind of boring. Like, I didn't like the open queue format. I didn't like a lot of the combos. I didn't find them that interesting. It was obviously poorly balanced. I don't know. I played a lot of Jung's Lab and I had a lot more fun. And that's like the worst insult that I can provide for this, is I just didn't have a lot of fun playing it.
Have a nice day, he says. 3 kills, 2 of them off the railgun. And that's all she wrote for that fight.
Tim's probably okay with that. It was a pretty expensive trade there. Beat Soj, but I didn't really see if there was anything major.
So you feel like you come back now with a sound barrier advantage.
Hazard swap for the playing for the map. This definitely feels like maybe more of a recent adjustment from the meta, where they think that Hazard could actually do good work. Doesn't feed a lot of charge, doesn't give a lot of charge, can avoid Zarya more so. His matchup is probably better. That's really unfortunate. The block gets bonked there by the bubble, but the offlane from Psycho is good enough. And now they could just kind of play it patiently, force resources, and make sure that we bully them out. And there's the block, there's the wall, and then there's the angling. So that's a really good execute there from TM. Very patient. Gets an advantage, doesn't rush the resource trade, takes their time. And it's even like the small thing of like, what is Kelix doing? Just die. where like they actually wasted another 10-15 seconds doing that too. So that's cool. Does calming have impact on players' gameplay at pro level? Yes. Yes, they absolutely makes you worse at playing. But it's by the better you get at it, obviously it's a smaller amount, and it obviously is like really important, so it's a cost you have to play for. That's why a lot of the higher mechanical performing characters generally are players don't calm as much. Can TVNT disengage this? You might need to. So yeah, that was okay. They Grav whiffs. Twisted Mind still has space though, so even with that death, there's a chance here. Yeah, there's a good chance. Steals Mega, Kellex is out of position, and Kellex is gonna die. Really, really well played by TM. They're playing around the verticality of the map so well, and you're seeing the value of the hazard. Just disengaging, avoiding, dancing, using his mobility really well. Yeah, some of the best mechanical players that I've worked with have generally been the quieter ones. Sparkers, Shax, a lot of hit scan players, Quartz. I work with Quartz back in freaking Saudi E-Leagues. Generally a quieter player. Doesn't mean that loud players are bad mechanically, but they provide value elsewhere usually. Trying to deny top. It's kind of a whiff there from TVNT in terms of hitting the backline there with it. But he does hit that Lucio, and that's even more important. That is a monster mistake there from Alcad. Like, the thing with Hazard Ult is it's not that it's terrible, it's just very inconsistent, and it's used more to force resources. If that actually connects on somebody, that's usually criminal. Like, that should not happen. There's too many resources to avoid. It certainly shouldn't happen that early in the fight when there's too many resources available. So, actually a beautiful hold there from TM. The Hazard stuff looked amazing. They did a really good job avoiding playing a ring around the rosy with the Zarya, and then well played to the end. Now the question here is, I don't know if the hazard is good enough on first point. It is more congested. Same criticism that I had. I mean, maybe you could. Maybe you could. I don't know. I honestly don't even know. Like, I think it's too close. I could see arguments for D.Va Zarya and Hazard on this map all the way through. Since in arcade mode, and arcade's meant for hijinks and fun, doesn't matter if it's... No, I don't care if it's like Rivals or not. If we want to steal stuff from Rivals, they stole a ton of stuff from us, and we stole a ton of stuff. Like, I don't care if there's idea theft. To me, it's more about execution. This isn't like... There's not like music. There's not like copyright stuff. You know? Like, the better your autopilot, the less of the impact of your calming. Yeah. And it also can be like autopilot with your calming, you know? Certain comms can be autopiloted, you know? Yeah, my main criticisms of the team-ups are more of that I don't like the concept that we have to keep jamming systems into Overwatch because we said that we'd reinvent the game every year. I find that promise, I have a lot of respect for Aaron, and I like him a great deal as a person. I think that promise is one of the stupidest things that he's ever said. It just is the worst thing he could possibly have said. It's a really silly thing to sign yourself up for. I don't think it's good for the game. If we want to do perks because perks are fun, great. If we don't feel like we have a good idea, then we shouldn't have to feel like we have to come up with a good idea. It's fine. I don't know if I'm doing Falcons versus Crazy Raccoon, but I will take your recommendation in mind. That's good to know. Thank you.
Still has to respect that Zarya damage. Really wants to make use of the
do I still do Genji VOD reviews? I do. You can check, if there hasn't been a post for a while, you can check the playlist. I don't know if I've done Genji in the last couple of weeks, but there's a playlist that I update every single time I do a session, and you can check it out. Welcome, welcome. What situation to use Bastion ult? Either early before the fight starts or immediately after your turret nade cycle, when you have a little bit of downtime in your lethality. Finish team fights quicker as a team? No. No advice. Win better. Do more things. We do have to keep the novelty coming to a certain degree, otherwise a certain subset of players will stop playing. I understand that, but that to me is like like listen, like I know I know that I'm just a stupid little content creator guy. I understand that. Like, and I'm not saying this from a point of like ego. I do not understand what it's like to run a massive multi-million-dollar game. But anybody that does content nowadays understands that to an extent. It's reinventing the wheel, new, flashy, and fun. But there's a certain percentage of content that you just have to focus on the quality of what you're doing and really retaining and improving the core audience. You get what I'm saying? And if you do that, then you can continue to throw new shiny things out to get those. But because those transient players are never going to stay anyway, I don't think you should always pursue that all the time. You know what's, because you can see that like there's a very careful balance there, because you see that with a lot of, again, I'm not going to name names, there's a lot of huge subscriber content creators that are completely dead nowadays. And the reason why is because they pursued like the new hype, new thing. Like they're all like click, boom, 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 boom. And like they lost the substance that initially made them good content creators, and they've just kind of faded away. I actually think that Rivals is struggling with that. Like you cannot, if your core game doesn't have a strong gameplay loop, you need to keep your core audience there and then do content from that strong foundation. Needs a 5-hero drop all at once that would revive Deadlock, I guess. But my problem is that I'm a realist. If you were doing brand new flashy game mechanics, if those mechanics aren't good, they not only will not attract new players, but they're going to drive away or frustrate old ones. And that's worst case scenario. Like I think a lot of people are invested in Overwatch. I mean, I don't know the numbers. I'm just going to admit ignorance here. But a lot of people are invested in the quality of what Overwatch is. Because it's a really freaking good game. And I think it's just not a content game all the time. And I'm a little concerned about like that as being as much of a priority. And I don't expect you to comment on that, Gavin, obviously. But that's my take on it, especially me. That's my bias. I will admit that. It doesn't matter, BJ, whatever you want, or BG, sorry. So, like, I want to preserve the competitive integrity and the so. I just look at things like Stadium, and I like the idea of Stadium, sure, but I just don't think it was executed all that well. It feels way too casual, and it just feels like a massive resource black hole. And I just don't know if it's doing that well. And I hope that I don't think we'll ever get numbers specifically for Stadium, but like it makes me wonder, like maybe we should just focus on 6v6 and perk quality and lore or new heroes or things that are like game balance and I'm saying not experimenting, because that's what brought us perks, but doing things because they sound like a good idea, not just because it's raw content, you know? You know? I'm completely distracted from this match. I actually think this is okay for TM. If they can get a trade, and they do. Can they get one more? They can get 2. We love that. Can Simple live? Wait, no way they're going to try to win this, right? I think they should have just lost that, to be honest, because that's a huge investment from Alcad. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind skins, because to me, skins don't affect the game and provide money, you know? So who gives a frick? I don't care about skins. Skins are great. More skins, please. More cosmetics. I really don't care. Like, I'm not even being toxic. Like, it's great. I'm just concerned when there's, like, we have to devote these crazy resources into systems into the game, or just because we said we would, you know? I have no problem with... Oh, Quartz. Come on, Quartz. Such an unforced death there. They get the free trade, and then he just keeps going without resources. They should still win this, but that was really sloppy. Oh, jeez. And then Simple dies to a 1 HP Zarya. Just really sloppy there, man. How to follow up question on pro comms and ideals and just good mechanical demand. Ideals are mostly chose based off of communicational resources, but that indirectly does favor tanks and so on, because they tend to be the chattier, more leader-focused characters. And not that tanks aren't mechanically demanding, but sometimes they're a little bit less so. Yeah. So TLDR, I don't have any problem. Oop.
D.Va drop, dive angle.
D.Va down.
Trace is top left, I think. Trace on me bottom
I drop
right.
point, I drop point.
D.Va point.
Shoot D.Va top, get fast. We have get stun, Well, we're up to left of kids.
I'm just playing through D.Va here.
No, just push point. D.Va top, right with me.
Go to get stun.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Care. We have get stun.
Tree here. Trace low.
Take neutral, okay? We catch off.
Tree real one.
Get close. Shoot D.Va.
Back.
I can't. Can you go now? Go.
Attack.
No.
I like the call of attack because once you have that angle and you have Kitsune, you can definitely stabilize from Tracer. Tracer should die, or somebody should die.
I got killing.
I'm on point, you go.
I love Divan me.
Lost a lot of space for that diva kill. Okay, they reset. Can you get one more here? One more? Yeah, that's a full cap.
Nice. These kids are gonna have feet soon. Yeah, they have feet first. They have feet first. Disengage if they beat, okay?
Good call. It's the right play for sure. I don't. It's a little bit of a missed track there to an extent, but it's still the correct call, and it's a disengage if they beat, right? So it's a preparation call, and so if it doesn't happen, then we're cooking. The problem here is that they've not been able to mark the off angle and use the space. Like Quartz's angle there and even Simple's angle there is way too passive, and so they were unable to force enough resources there to force the beat even if they had it. So we'll see the beat from Kellix here. That's spooky, but the problem is that there's not enough there. Oh, TV&T. Ooh. I guess they did get the angle enough. Okay, well there you go. Spiles are playable here. Also, hi there, Poop Kip. How are you? But yeah, TLDR is I don't have a problem with new flashy cool things. Perks are just definitely a compromise to competitive integrity by a little bit, but there's so much fun that I don't give a frick, right? And they're relatively well done competitively, so who cares? But I don't like the promise that we have to reinvent Overwatch. I didn't like it when it was initially made. I heard it a long time ago. It was the first summit I ever went to. And it led to a cool innovation, but I am a little scared about this next year. What would my kit be? It would just be 4 mobility cooldowns and 0 damage. You just do damage by just distracting people. The more people looking at you, the more damage you do to them. This feels a bit rushed from TM. Mythic hats. Edie, I agree with you and disagree with you. I think, okay, you guys ready for this? Here's what it is. The new, balance resources going into the new mechanics. I agree with you. But I actually don't think this recent patch was an example of that for the perks, because the perk changes were terrible. The perk changes were either not well executed or just completely innocuous. Like really, look back at last patch and tell me that there were a lot of resources put into the perk changes. Seriously, look at it. They did like a couple of number tweaks on the vast majority of perks that didn't even change they didn't even change perks last patch. My suspicion is that those resources are going somewhere else entirely. And that's my concern. Like, we should have put more resources into fixing perks last patch. Or base kits, as you said. TM's fricked here. Beat is really hard to get value out of here. They got the touch. I don't even know what you do here. You just hope for an off angle? Alcat can just stall Pulse cart, Freya cart, Kitsune cart. TM's gonna have to beat this soon, just to be able to keep cart presence, but then it's gonna get layered, and we have nothing to do afterwards. Like, unless Freya ult hits a squishy, which is really hard to do so here. Quartz has to hit somebody here. Like, it has to. It's a good play from TV&T, actually, a really good play, because you need something weird to happen. Wait. Oh, no, not enough. That was close. That was really well played by TM at the end, that last fight, but just not enough momentum there.
I mean, that was a great ball there from Quartz. They end up just losing 2 players there who were trying to go contest.
But yeah, I guess my point being is that like this patch was such a nothing burger that I'm assuming it's being devoted onto new things, and I hope those new things are good, because it certainly sucks to have other aspects being left behind. You know, like we need to be making perks as good of a system as we possibly can. Not just the perks themselves, but every single aspect of the system needs to be evaluated in relation to win rates and in relation to characters' reliance on perks and the scale of perks, and evaluating our opinion on transformation versus just free value, you know? And I'm not saying that nothing is happening there, but the expectation was a lot more than what we've seen for the last patch and a half. Cheers, Dark. So it's just like, I don't know. Like, you got to reinforce your systems, you know? You got to strengthen your systems. You got to make the system as best as you possibly can. I know I'm biased here. Like, even with my own content, it's always been quality. You know, like, I'm not really good with short form content. I'm not, like, min-maxing. I try to come up with unique ideas of my own. I know I don't do the content thing perfectly. I do too much coaching and don't stream for long enough. But, like, I'm successful with my own, right? And I'm successful because there's like a internal motivation, I guess, for the reasons why I do things. You know, I have a bigger motivation than just getting as many views as I can, you know, because that's not only transient, but that's also not something that I find personally satisfying. You know, I kind of extrapolate those expectations onto the Overwatch team because I think that's what makes Overwatch great, is that it's just a great game. And that's why I've never been concerned about its reviews on Steam. You know, it's just a freaking amazing game. So 3 favorite DPS heroes currently to play or to like conceptually, like if I was good at them or I put the time in, or to coach or as a design, because to play and by design are different. Thank you, Justin. I mean, there's a lot of, I'm not saying I can't get better, but I try to get better within the goals of what I already have, you know? We can do both. For me to play, it's probably, you guys are going to laugh, but I actually think Mei, Symmetra, Sombra are probably my 3 favorite DPS to play. Design perspectives has to be Genji, Tracer, Ashe. Now, I find Sombra, Mei, Symmetra to be very thoughtful in terms of how they take duels and angles. The whole positional side of things is like really freaking weird, and I really find that enjoyable. But in terms of design, I do like these characters too. Genji, Ashe, Tracer probably. I think Genji, Tracer, Ashe are just great designs. I think Ashe is a phenomenal sniper. I'm not a sniper guy myself, but I think she's just a great design. My other take on Mei, Symmetra is I think the vast majority of the reasons why people don't find them fun to play into is because they don't play versus good Mei, Symmetras. Now, if you play versus good Mei, Symmetra, it's definitely going to be frustrating, but not in the way that you think. No, I'm not even rage baiting. There's also Quinn Slayer, my best DPS, so that definitely helps. You get what I'm saying? So it's like I enjoy winning, and so I usually enjoy playing Mei, Symmetra, Sombra, because I'm really good at Mei, Symmetra, Sombra. And Mei, Symmetra especially are very much misunderstood, so I win a lot of games because I'm just better than every other Mei, Symmetra, because they don't know how to play the game. And that pays out because usually the enemy team doesn't know how to play versus that type of Mei either. They're not used to that type of Mei. I'm not like egoing here. I'm saying my lack of gameplay time is carried by the fact that I just have a better understanding of that kit, so it carries over. So. Yeah, Ashe can be challenging, but Ashe is really good right now. Ashe is in the best state that she's been strength-wise. That minor perk helped out a lot, and other hit scans struggling. She's definitely, I'd say, a top 5 or top 6 DPS in most ranks right now. So I think you're actually worse. Okay, so thank you. But yeah, I just really enjoy Symmetra in the same way that I enjoy Brigitte, where I enjoy extended duels that like have like a lot of thinking and strategy and baiting. I like the fact that it takes me a while to win a 1v1 or to get a pick. Like I have to really kind of like plan it out, strat, you know. Hey, listen, I'm not plat with Mei Sim. I think I played Mei. I reached like Masters 2 with Mei, and Sim is probably close. I mean, probably not Masters 2 right now, but top 3 heroes to coach. What do you mean my top 3? Like, is it my favorite to coach? The ones that coach the most. Blizz winner in super videos? Yeah. He's a lurker, getting feedback and.
OWTV interviews
hanging out. My Symmetra was not plat the last time we checked. We did the Is My Symmetra plat, and ice cold with one of the worst mechanical days. I dunked on both plat lobbies, Queenie. I'll have you know. That was the entire point. What makes so Ash so unpopular in pro play? It's the mobility diff, really. It's the mobility diff. I think it's the inability to be snappy with your positioning. Now you might be like, well, isn't Cass kind of immobile as well? Well, Cass can shoot and move. Ash's biggest problem is that she can't shoot and move, and I don't think they should take that away, but it is a downside. Exclamation mark coaching Cosmic. When do you have a good mechanical day? That's not true. I usually have a good mechanical day game or two. I've noticed that I play better mechanically on like the first 1 or 2 games on stream, but you know, by then I'm like the 9 to 5 guy. You know, I come on to play Overwatch. I've got like 1 or 2 energetic games, but the wife and kids, I'm just tired. You know what I'm saying? You know, oh, the other one. So. First point taken for Twisted Minds, kind of back and forth, and then they'll get this door open with over 5 minutes on the clock. I look big in this image. I mean, well, bro, I'm trying to not be insulted. I'm actually bigger now than I was then. Maybe a little bit less in the arms category. Is it easier to climb the Masters this season? Am I having? It is easier, yeah, but it's because it was too hard last season. It was too hard last season. It's the hardest it's ever been in Overwatch since the last year. Is the hardest it's ever been to climb to Masters up until this past season. Favorite guitar chord? I don't know the names, man. I mean, I know obviously the names, but like not the suspended. It'd probably have to be a sus or some B, something or another. If you're talking about like really basic chords, I really like A minor or C a lot. I like how it sounds in a normally tuned guitar. I like the key of C, A minor, F. There's a lot of suspended chords that you can do in that. A7, A minor 7. Stuff feels good. Am I aware of the rank inflation this season? Yes. Well, Masters is still not easy to get. That's the thing. It's like Masters is still a very small percentage. So I'm just the worst. I don't even know what I'm looking at right now. Why are we in BAP? Okay, they banned Kiriko. That explains it, but BAP should still be really hard here. I mean, Landon's an amazing BAP. And this map is okay for BAP, but yeah. Could be challenging. What genre of music is my favorite? I don't know. Probably some form of like alt rock or something like that, if I had to choose, or classic rock, something like that. But I have very broad musical taste. I like a little bit of everything. Love you. I'll see you guys in a little bit. I will text you. Yeah. What are you again? Oh, yeah. That's right. I am the main character. No. No, you're just a sidekick. You're the main character in your gem, and then Jacob just gets a participation trophy. Your shoes are cooler than me. What shoes am I gonna wear, bro? Alright, that's fine. Nice. I like this matchup, by the way. This is the team is playing to their strengths. I think it's pretty cool. Soj Tracer, just because there's a little bit more space, more lateral stuff, and also helps a lot versus the Diva. So. On a little bit of a flank here, I think just trying to put some shots down, then just kind of wait a little bit. Anything that you guys like in Overwatch, Gavin's probably had to do with it, with the exception of perks. All the little tiny little dinkly things, Gavin has done a great deal to help. Well, yeah, because champion was an inaccessible. Oh dear, simple. Was basically inaccessible rank for a while. Love you. I mean, if you think about it, there's still only like 500 champion players in the world, I believe. I might be wrong on that, but it's somewhere around there. And that's between all 3 regions. Inflationary is, yeah, it's a bit of an adjective for sure. It's inflated from previous seasons. Oh no, Leb, that just screws that up. That's funny. That's funny. Leb just fell off. 300 per roll per region. Is it really 300 per roll per region? I mean, that still would be relatively selective, but is it really 300 per roll per region? Maybe you are. I don't know. I mean, I'm not exactly talking from a point of knowledge. From the last I checked, but it's been a while. How to know if your rank is inflated? You don't need to know if your rank is inflated. You are what you are. The only thing that could potentially be considered inflated, and this has always been the case, is just certain placement match, certain new account placement matches can be kind of squirrely. Well, if you like Gavin, clearly you just have bad personal tastes, but...
Mantra swap here, so, man, they just kind of play musical chairs with the tank. So, the Ramatra swap for Alcatia, where Ramatra's really good here.
Ram swap is great. This is definitely where Alcat's comps should be better. Small room, mobility of hazards basically impossible to utilize here with the exception of the in there, and Ram is still Ram. So, unless Alcat beefs this disengage, which they might, I mean, it's still a Sojourn, you know? Ziad is in serious trouble. It's a bummer. Oh, it's a huge, huge trade from Checkmate. That's actually massive. This should mean not a comfortable re-engage, but it should mean a very doable re-engage. They will be 5. Calyx gets caught. It's unfortunate.
Now, is this really a silver bullet? I'm not certain.
Yeah, the reason why people are negative about this season is because it feels really awkward to be like, I just kind of had a higher rank this season. I feel like you didn't earn it. But the reason is that you were working with ankle weights the previous seasons. So, I mean, GM was like less than, what was it, like 0.3? It was silly. So, like, the thing is again, I just have to clarify, GM was harder from Season 9 to Season 15, 16, whatever, than it's ever been in Overwatch 1 or Overwatch 2 by a lot. You can go back to the old Overwatch 1 bell curves and compare it. Good cap by TM. Good cap by TM. Yeah, the BAP's fine, but BAP really requires you to be on top of your game, because the second that things get messy, you wish you had mobility. You wish you had an ultimate that was more consistent with output, that people couldn't move around. We talked about like why Ashe can feel bad. That's why BAP can feel bad as well.
Excellent round. He's 16-1 right now.
Well, you don't need to know what GM felt like in Overwatch 1 necessarily. I'm more referring to the fact that old school players are like, ah, well, GM is harder. No, it's not. Congrats. If you hit Grandmaster this season, you should feel good. You earned it. Ankle weights, as in the rank. I mean, I've said it. Like, the rank was harder to get back in the day. It was a lot harder to get, proportionally. There's a much smaller percentage of players from Season 9 to Season 16, Grandmaster, Master, and Top 500 champion than there ever has been in Overwatch 1 or Overwatch 2. I don't know if things have inflated to the point of the opposite direction this season, but regardless, it's still a significant accomplishment.
Makes for a bit of a slower comp. I mean, you obviously have the Lucio to speed you forward, and it's still a pretty good in like.
So if you achieved like Masters 2 or Masters 3 season before last, that was the equivalent of like GM 4 or 4.1, 4.2 in Overwatch 1. You did accomplish the equivalent of a Grandmaster skill level in Overwatch 1. Percentage-wise. Yeah. Well, I think the problem, Gavin, is that you guys have tweaked the bell curve so much, not necessarily in a bad way, but like it was bad at the start, and then it was overly restrictive. And just compared to Overwatch 1, or at least you've been more public about tweaking it. And so, yeah. You're just put under the microscope a lot more. That's a really good angle from Checkmate here, actually. It's crazy that he actually just got through for free. The high ground does deny some of that. I actually like the Ramatra. If they can play the Ramatra here, it's kind of a cool flavor. Oh, he caught the bash. I don't know, he didn't catch it. I thought he got the bash. Okay, maybe not. TVNT's low, but yeah, Ramatra's good here. Ramatra's also good versus the Lucio, or the Brigitte. But maybe, it's a good try. We'd see any Genji here. It's funny because I actually look at this and maybe it's... I don't know. I feel like if these guys had practiced Genji, this would be the point to see Genji, the matchup to see Genji.
All right, well, we've lost a little over a minute. Not the end of the world, but in terms of building support ultimates, Alcatia haven't really done anything spectacular.
Pretty much Jay, yes.
They'll have a sound barrier in time. There's going to be a tidal blast that comes up first for Funny Astro. And meant to be needed in this.
Oh, that was a good shot there, Astro. Yeah, but you have to understand at this level, like, rapid adjustments in the compositions you're playing is, like, really spooky. Because you just have to kind of, like... These guys have been playing Tracer for, like, several months now. it cuts both ways, right? Like when Genji becomes meta, he sticks around for meta for longer than he should, and so on. I mean, Ramatra is still horrific. It's just more of a matchup focused thing. Like, you have to understand, things are so much more contextual than playing the OP characters. Remember we talked about this. It's like, generally one overpowered character dictates the match. So, like, this is the way it looks, okay? So, let me explain to you guys what's happening here. Zarya is okay on this point, but she really struggles on third or second. And so what ends up happening is you'd be like, okay, well, we need to play the things that we're better at. Okay, so we can play Ham and Razor. We're going to play characters that we're strong at here, but there's a Lucio, or there's a Kiriko ban. So we have to decide what combo do we want here. Okay, well, there's a lot of verticality, a lot of movement needed, so maybe we should play Sojourn. Oh, wait, Frey is banned. Never mind, that question is easy to answer. Oh, well, could you not just play Zarya here? Because, you know, okay, we're just going to play for first point cap. Well, they're just going to run Ramatra, and Ramatra, even in a nerf state, is really good versus Zarya. Okay, well, then we can just play Hazard. Okay, well, then, yeah, can you use the verticality of Hazard well? You know, it's just like, there's just like so many little things that come into play here. So, generally when you watch like professional players, you might see like one or two strong heroes being played, but a lot of times the other characters are played because of the counter of the strong character. You know? Like really right now, the only two strong heroes that are being played are Tracer Lucio. Everybody, they're playing mind games and then rock, paper, scissors they've devolved it to the 4th level with the tanks. And that's it. And then the bans affect things. No Symmetra? Yeah, well, because the Sim perk change was a big nerf to how pros played Sim. Doesn't affect rank Symmetra as much because you're still using it just for your own off angles, but being able to TP deep was a big deal. Man, this Kiriko ban is crippling Alcad, man. They're just incapable of supporting off angles or taking space. Feels really bad. Team is doing such a good job surrounding these guys. This is over. We don't include Kiriko in that? Well, she's banned, but yeah. Kiriko is definitely a flexible enough support, but since the Wuyong ban, though, the supports haven't really been dictating what's being played as much because they're not the strongest character. Kiriko at this level is just more along the lines of the best option that you have, but she's not dictating what characters can and can't be played, really. Really good hold there. And that's going to stick with TM. These alternative comps did not work. The BAP did not work. The Ramatra could on paper work, but it was not supported well. It didn't work. Doesn't mean it can't work. It just might mean it's not working today, or you need to pick a different map, different situation.
Top of the stairs to the defense side high ground with his shield up. So there's no way you're getting to the Sojourn position. And if you don't have mobility, you have no vertical mobility with this.
Yeah. The biggest change to the recent meta for pro play has been the Wuyong nerf, which has absolutely affected pro play. He's gone from being a character that you must play around or ban around or pick around or counter pick around or versus a character that you can definitely play, but depending on the map, but like there's no longer must pick. And I think the Reaper ban also to a lesser extent because he's actually still in a decent state, but the minor pick perk being immediately available for the fast teleport was incredibly important. In addition to that, I think the tank meta has just kind of devolved more because the recent patch did not really change the tank meta much at all. There were no significant buffs or nerfs. The context didn't really affect things. Like Reaper never really dictated what pinks were being played. Neither did Wuyong, not as much. So you're just kind of seeing a devolve, which is why I think we're seeing more Hazard. Because I think Hazard is kind of something that certain teams have experimented more with, or more RAM if you're in Korea or whatever else. Yeah, and so now if you're going to see Zarya, it's going to be more of on her own 2 feet and not because she's helping Reaper anymore. Venture bad? Venture's fine, but it's more Venture just doesn't have great matchups versus certain characters. Venture needs a lot more pocket from her supports, or from their supports, excuse me. So I just don't think that, like, if you're playing Kiriko Lucio, you have the packs that you need. Yeah, Venture's fine.
I mean, dude,
Venture's
the more we
fine,
watch, like,
so.
some of these games, like, yeah, we obviously see what
Venture kind of feels a little bit like the Genji, where you play them in like more short-range verticality situations and so on. But I don't think Venture's bad. I think Venture is like the Genji. Venture, Genji. Trying to think who else.
the stage is going for another like 2-3 weeks, right? Like,
Maybe
we're
even
really starting to see,
Juno-ish
comps galore.
after the recent patch. Maybe not.
Kind of playing in.
Hazard was definitely one.
Alcatia going
Ball.
to
These characters are like Ball. I guess is actually being played, so like that's not really fair. But these characters are fine. Like they can be played. It just is the pro whimsy gonna go their way or not? You know what I'm saying? You know, is the little details surrounding, because like again, things get stuck. They don't really want to experiment as much. Somebody could pick Venture, dominate with Venture, and all of a sudden we're in a hardcore Venture meta. Like I don't look at Venture right now and be like, oh yeah, they're not strong. No, they could absolutely be strong enough right now. They could absolutely. It just could be. That's all it takes, really.
Alcatia banned Hazard in map 1 and Wu Yang in map 2. So you
Claim on Juno in a short run. Don't ever think about short run. Always think about the long run, about what you need to be doing better as a player. Positioning, rotation, cooldowns, mechanics, aim, damage, so on.
honestly target the brig and try and play like because Diva Sim, this is Diva Sim, right? This is
I just don't think Doom is good at the pro level. I don't think Doom has ever been good at the pro level since this first season. He's tolerable. There's moments when he's okay. But like in a vacuum, Doom is just really bad versus multiple different off angles. He really struggles with map control because way too much of his kit revolves around Empowered Punch, which is just an incredibly inconsistent and vulnerable tool to off angles.
isn't it? Isn't it? I think there is a
So yeah, Alcat's gonna ban TM. TM's gonna ban Cassidy. It might be a DPS protect ban here because TM's gonna want to run whatever Sojourn Freya nonsense that they want. Or Alcat's gonna ban Ramatra. I'm sorry, that's the first ban. That's gonna force probably Zarya here. I think this is Alcat really trying to get the Zarya juice going on here because I don't think.
I get brought to mind.
Yeah, I think it's weird to see Zarya here. We'll probably see Zarya, and then we'll see a cast ban just to make sure that. You know, chat, that might be a Hazard thing. I don't know. Would you run Sojourn versus Hazard? Why would you ban Cassidy? Maybe it's just a throwaway ban just to make sure that there's no like wild card out here. But I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like Zarya Sojourn, Hazard Sojourn. Maybe Freya. I don't know. Maybe Freya.
Level of disruption. I guess the one concern is that
Was DPS Doom ever played in pro play? Yes. There were double shield metas briefly where he was played. It was more of a contenders meta before it went pro, but yeah, very, very rare.
And you're just going to take the matchup. You're just going to maybe just keep playing Tracer Sojourn or Tracer Freya, right? And just don't.
Yeah, just say that Ram would ruin Zarya's. No. I'm not questioning the Ram's ban. I'm thinking about the Cassidy ban more. The Ram ban makes sense because I think they're going to try to force Zarya here. So the question is TM going to mirror the Zarya? Are they going to whip out the Hazard? I don't think you can play Diva here versus Zarya. I think it's a little too open for most of the map. So we might see Zarya Hazard, Zarya mirror with either Freya or Sojourn maybe. And we'll probably just see Kiriko Lucio again. We could see Kiri Wu Yang here. There's enough space for it, but I would be surprised if we saw anything other than Kiriko Lucio here.
Okay. That's fine.
Would Diva make sense here? I don't think so. She's not bad here, but you just can't really take first fight with Diva. You have to like give up so much map control to play around the bridges. You could play Diva. I just don't. There's a lot of really ugly spots with Diva if the enemy team plays Zarya. Maybe the Cassie ban is because you could technically do Zarya cast. I mean, we've seen that at times and just bait stuff onto your cast and bubble it, you know? Like, that's not a bad combo, but yeah. So it's Hazard Zarya, as we said. How are the maps chosen for this? I think loser picks and then loser picks first ban, I think. And I'm not sure, like, what the order of operations is. Like, if they, I don't know exactly how the maps are picked from that regard from there. I honestly don't know. Did they just not have ball players? They have ball players, but they're not neither of these two teams. And I actually don't even know if they have really ball players. I actually don't know if that's fair. They have maybe a guy that can play ball, but yeah. I agree with you though. I think ball is probably the strongest tank right now. Like even in pro meta, like if you can get him rolling, no pun intended. Freya is more of a map situational choice. I think Freya. It's weird. Freya can punish Hazard a lot more than she can punish Zarya, but also Zarya really can't stop a Freya from taking space like at all. So it's like kind of a I kind of prefer TM's comp here, I think, just by a little bit, especially with the way that TM has been taking... Oh, they're running Wuyang Brigitte. Okay, super greedy off-angle comp. Lots of damage, lots of pocket onto your DPS. If you can just open angles here and take lots of space and just don't give them something to speed on. Simple has to be careful, but like there's actually going to be... what is Simple doing? Why is Simple on cart? Yeah, see, this is my one concern. I don't think Simple knows how to freaking play Brig. You don't play in cart, jackass. You take the angle. You avoid the Zarya and Freya. Like, you pocket your Freya, deny the enemy tracers, but yeah, because they go Kiriko. I like that way better. Not because when Brig couldn't work, it's just... the flex player ain't gonna play Brigitte correctly. Whereas I have much more faith in these guys playing the characters here. So, yeah, we're going to be off-angle max here. Going to be really hard for Zarya to connect on anything. So we'll see how that goes. Bubble and Suzu used. High ground's taken. Freya pockets there. Tracer recalls forced. Hazard disengages the Kitsune. They might even be able to hold the top here. I don't know. That's where the one depth problem is, like, you really can't speed disengage anything. So you're kind of just avoiding it laterally, and that's kind of what they do there. So yeah, I honestly still feel like on this map I would prefer to run Wuyang Kiriko. I think this map is wide open enough that you don't really have to run Brig here. It probably feels a lot better to run Wuyang Kiriko. Is new hero next season? I believe so. I think Ball's easier to balance nowadays, Poke, because I think the retract grapple change made the character skill floor a little bit lower. Certainly the value floor. It's easier to get value out of the team. We're looking for a Wuyang ultimate here. Probably more on the tank just to create space. You're not as greedy with Wuyang ult because you can't really guarantee a kill anymore, so you just take what you can get. This is a huge mistake. There's no reason for my Wuyang Kiriko to be accessible by both by the Zarya. That's criminal. That's the one thing you can't do. You got to open up your lanes, open up your angles. I don't know how TM's set up there, but if both the TM supports are stacked, that is unforgivable. Brig was a diva prediction, no? That's probably true, Sarah, actually, yeah. But I think if it's a diva prediction, that's a really strange choice. But yeah, I think you're right, Sarah. And then they just swap. But then also, like, if you're playing Brigitte, don't toss the fight, you know? Like, play the hero. I don't know. I'm seeing this Zarya get way too much value. We're not utilizing high grounds. We're not hard angling. You have Freya, Wuyang, Kiriko. Like, I don't know. There's so much that you can do here. It's not really looking good from TM. And to be fair to TM, I just don't think that they have the experience playing double flex. This is a team that runs Kiri Lucio. They go push, they go pull, they put Yubi in, and this has been a little bit ugly in terms of the setups. So maybe they can turn it around, but so far Alcat is cruising. Kelix is down though. Kitsune is still active, and so cart progress is still being made. That's also a Freya ult used as well, and there's just no reason to use that there from Quartz. So they'll clean this up, but I don't know. Like it doesn't feel trade there on a Psycho late as well. Doesn't feel like TM's gonna be super proud of that engagement. Derpy had a good change for the ammo and shield. Would you ban Ram if the place was to go Diva? Well, you'd ban Ram to bait them into thinking that you're going to go Zarya, and then you go Diva, and then you go, aha, we killed your Wuyang Kiriko comp, because it was like probably a mind game thing.
You're looking to get checkpoint out of this fight, right? Being able to kind of secure the checkpoint, they know that Alcat.
All right, TM have space. They don't have a lot of ults. They have really no ults, but they have space. They have sight lines. There's the Frey ult. TVNT needs to disengage. He does not disengage. I don't know, there's just not a lot of punish into Alcat, you know? It's maybe a difficult part of the map to do, but yeah. You're getting too much free value? Yeah, it feels a lot of how TM splits are not... they aren't dive pilled. They're not flanking and off-angling and two-man hit squads and baiting bubbles and... Hello, Santana. Which is how you have to play this, because Zarya will get speed, and she will run you down. But there's a lot of space in this map. Like right now, we have top left, but Freya's not deep enough on top left. And then Hazard ends up getting collateraled. And so we have a three-man graph. Like, I just can't be possible. It just can't be possible in this comp, that you get a 3-man grab that quickly. I would literally like Psycho or Simple and Psycho, yeah, to go hard flank, hard angle. And yeah, this is going to be more up to speed because it's just looking really bad. TM is kind of an OTP with how they play stuff. And it's kind of showing here. So Alcad really calling their bluff. And then the Ram ban basically means that, you know, you can try to beat us with your honesty, but you're going to have to do it on heroes that we want to play. You know. Kind of walk forward and walk backward. Yeah.
Twisted Minds need another good fight or so before they can actually like answer this potential grab threat. And Alcatsi don't need that.
So they're just going to bail, and they're just going to fall back to comfort, basically. Push-pull, simpler, tighter angles, no deep flanks, and knowing TM, it'll probably work. This team is something else.
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, look, you can kind of throw that ball in, but
This is high-level Overwatch from a mechanical perspective, team play perspective, layering perspective, just not in the deep flanking, knowing how to double flex perspective. These are great teams. They just don't know how to play double flex.
But if you can get checkpoint here, right, force Alcatsi to kind of play from that choke on the opposite side, as Zion makes a change over to the Diva. I wonder. I think
Which means you just have 2 range supports, so you have to play 2 range supports at 2 range. That was a very expensive ult to lose, or fight to lose. Diva swap, I like it. I don't think we'll see TM bringing back the Brigitte. I think we'll probably just see this probably mirror matchup play out for the rest of the match. I'd be surprised if we saw any more swaps. Let's put it that way. Maybe we see a Sojourn swap at most, but that's about the last thing I expect. The mandated map 5 man. Have TM lost to every single 5 map match? I've heard something like that. I don't know if that's true. Another big fight win for TM. Probably just see a Kitsune on point. Alcad will probably bait disengage. TM is postured strangely here, though. Okay, there it is. They're just distance on the Diva, I suppose. But they gave up the top right angle, I think, which then opened up a real problem from the Tracer. But the layering is there, or the ult, I guess, not even the layering. So if they keep the snowball here, Alcad was strangely not prepared for that fight. Like, you would think that Alcad, or, yeah, would be ready to disengage that. I mean, they knew they had Kitsune, they knew they had B. Like, what was the plan there? Was the plan a chaos fight? If so, then why are we reaching all the way across the map instead of setting up a flank? Yeah, that just felt really odd series of fights there. So they need to just mark a Tracer. Oh, that's an unfortunate kill. Can they get a trade here, TM? Can they get a trade? I think they're going to try for one. They're trying to hold space to see if they catch anybody overextending, but it doesn't work. So that's kind of a big one for Alcad right there, actually. It's still not good that they pushed this far. But literally just to pick on Freya. That was it. Regional diff? Yeah, I mean, Korea's just been better always. Better provokes better because better practices better because they're better. So the question is, how do they start better? And that's a much longer conversation. Kitsune trades, or I guess Kitsune for, man, I don't even know. Does TM try to layer this with beat? Ooh, that's a dangerous Freya ult. That's a really dangerous Freya ult. Yeah. Frick, man. TM is just... bomb's gonna have to be used. We don't have the perk. Or maybe we do. What? Wait, that was Pulse Bomb as well? Yeah, so again, TM with the some free fight wins here. They still have their layers intact. Like, you will gladly trade Freya Pulse Bomb for Diva Bomb. I think push is really hype for OWCS. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of disagree. It's very reverse sweepable, which is very competitively questionable, but it makes it really fun to watch. Oh, they caught the Tracer. Checkmate gets 2 while trapped. The peel is there, and the Alcad layers are there, and Twisted Minds... Alcad screws it badly, and then TM trolls it badly. What a bunch of nonsense, man. Map 5, mandatory map 5. Like, Like, Alcad took so many bad fights and messy ult layers, and then get just some free kill onto, who was it, Quartz. And then TM's like, oh, it's fine, we got our, and then TM does exact freaking same thing. Oh my days. That's unreal. Both teams are like, wait, what just happened? All right, well, map 5 here, and this is going to be TM's choice. Both teams have looked pretty volatile when things weren't going their way. But there's enough bleed in between here. And what's the last? Is it Flashpoint here? That last fight was very difficult to win there for TM. It's the stuff leading up to that, right? So how did Tracer survive the bomb? I must have missed it. There's too many blinking things on my screen. Yeah, maybe map 5 Suravasa. Yeah.
We're on the edge of our seats in this matchup. These guys deliver for us every single time. It is like clockwork.
Yeah. And I think if you're Twisted Minds, I think in the future, right, it's like if they have Diva, then you can bring the Brig out. Otherwise, I think you still just go Lucio Curie. I think it's just still
doing deep dive in the console Overwatch matters. How different PC Overwatch? No, I haven't thought about, but maybe we could. I think the reason why I haven't is because it would boil down to, yeah, there's a lot of cheaters. But there's definitely some nuance there. Like, you could be like, why is symmetric? Like, you know, why are some of the harder to aim characters hard? Like the movement. My suspicion is that characters like Tracer Genji might be a little bit trickier, or playing into Tracer Genji could be trickier. I don't know.
That is the kind of map OWCS can go to. I think the hazard is very reasonable there, right? But we've seen some wacky. We've seen Malga on that map, for example.
But yeah. If you're wondering why the KD is different here, it's because Alcat's composition was much more like less solo flanky style, so there were more eliminations where more people were involved, basically.
A ton of options if we end up going to that map. Suravasa feels like it gives us much more of that Diva and Zarya composition, right? Yeah. And not all of those flashpoints really offer you good high ground.
All right, what's the last map? Are we gonna see what bands are left, man? Like, seriously, what bands would you do? Tim has a band.
There's never a time where it's like, even the bad games of these two go to 5, right? You know, they're kind of like threatening reverse sweeps and...
I don't check bands either, to be honest with you guys. We'll look at the bands and we'll talk about the bands when we see them.
Also because they're so evenly matched. They play like very similar comps, right? Like, I think like player for player talent across.
Why does the stat board show damage and healing? I feel like that is not useful. It's not. It's just more because it's fun to look at. It's just fun to look at. It's like, oh, look at that, fun.
A real opportunity we're going to get in our grand finals, and I would not be complaining. Of course, there's money.
All right, these bands.
And also that top seeding is
no, map choice. Suravasa, nice. Love me some Suravasa. Fairly dynamic map. I think more so than Atlas. I don't mind Atlas, but I think Atlas is a lot more congested at points. I think. Yeah. Yep, Tracer ban. We have not seen a Tracer ban, so we could see a Tracer ban depending on the team that feels more confident. But I mean, who would prefer the Tracer ban? Would it be Alcad? Because of checkmate, but okay, never mind. TM's gonna ban Sojourn, and then Alcad's gonna ban Diva.
Ooh, and then the Diva gone. Yeah. I think generally, I mean, you can play Diva in
could be also a protect ban of Tracer right there as well, banning Sojourn Force Freya, which also bans Alcad from banning Tracer.
Obviously, that's the second ban here, so it's not a protective of any kind.
Ram? Is a Diva ban for Ram? The Diva ban might be for Ram.
If she's able to carry some charge over from previous fights, if she's able to build some up for free with those right clicks, it feels like eventually you just overwhelm the hazard, even if there's Kyrie.
Or is it just going to be a Zarya mirror? Diva's not bad versus Zarya on this map. There's enough space for hit scans to get a lot of pressure on a Zarya. So, like, there's two ways to beat Zarya, right? Like, you avoid her or you poke her out. And for a Diva player, you can just rely on your Soj Freya or whatever to just pump damage down to her on this particular point.
point,
And
right?
so maybe D.Va is a legitimate potential
You know,
option
Zarya
here.
just trying to take
And
control,
so
but
they ban her on that.
right? Could be the Ram.
So this map was the decider.
Banning Sojourn because Quartz is a better frame closer to Leb than Sojourn.
And I remember this well because we sort of
Okay.
asked them afterwards. They wanted
But I
to-
still think there could be a real potential for a Tracer Protect there, too. Because I feel like if any team could run something with, I mean, if you see that Psycho's in, then don't you just ban Tracer there and run like Sim? Or do you think that Psycho could pull out the Venture or something? I don't know. You get what I'm saying, right, Surly? But yeah, the D.Va ban, I don't know. They must feel that the D.Va is decent enough on first point there.
I don't know really if like that's entirely in the wheelhouse of Twisted Minds. This doesn't.
I don't know, Nathan. It's hard to say.
I just don't think we see Sim at all from Arcades here. I think they're off of it, and I think they're off of it, especially against this.
And I feel like I trust Checkmate a lot more than I do over Psycho on the flex swaps. Psycho's good. Psycho's pretty darn flexible, but Checkmate is just Checkmate,
With
dude.
these two teams, could also be kind of saving some Sim stuff.
So we'll probably see Freya Tracer.
You know, with these two teams in like some type of matchups.
And then, I don't know, Zarya, Ram, Hazard.
I think off the start,
Not sure.
I would say that Alcatia is probably going to be playing some type of like Zarya like look. TM has an opportunity to do something a little bit.
There also is a question of support picks here. Like I feel like in my heart it's just gonna be Kiriko Lucio knowing these teams, to be honest. They're both gonna feel like, oh, we couldn't win this with Kiriko Lucio, but there is flexibility here on this point. But I feel like it's gonna be Kiriko Lucio, Freya Tracer, and then okay, let's put our money down. Alcad is going to run with D.Va ban.
And exclusive merch packages are available now. Now, last year, I don't know if it's the same this year, so you need to check on the link. But last year, there were tickets specifically.
Did they ram mirror? No way they ram mirror. D.Va ban, Mind Games with the Zarya pick. I don't know if Hazard's good enough. Did they ram mirror? Dude, that would be so cancer, but they could do it. But Freya, is that even... No way they ram mirror. They might ram mirror. Ram or Zarya mirror, maybe. No, but... Is Ram just bad on... I'm going to predict Ram or Zarya mirror. That's my prediction. Ram or Zarya mirror. You think Cassie from Lebda here?
I'll be there. I'm sure the rest of the crew's going to be there, so be able to meet a bunch of people, have a great time, and experience some.
I hope it's not a Ram here, but
got recommended something to do in Stockholm.
at least the DPS are pretty interesting to watch. Torb is not a hero. Hello, congrats on your 3-stream streak. The Jungle Queen pick out of nowhere? Zarya is, I think, too good versus that particular matchup. Malga? No way, Malga, right? No way. Too easy to counter swap. I think Freya, Tracer, too many off angles. Zarya, too many problems. Malga would be really funny though. Malga would be a counter pick the Ram, but like they just go Zarya and then you're kind of in trouble. I think you do have the option to not ban. I think so. You should. Oh, maybe it's just gonna be Hazard. I mean, it makes sense, but. Zarya Hazard. Well, they're just gonna stick with their strengths, I guess. There's their Freya Tracer. Crocodile.
You've cornered the market. You have them all on.
The D.Va ban logic, I guess, is if you wanted to play Hazard. That's probably it.
They got non-competes, bro. They are not right.
They can't negotiate. They gotta do.
Or no, sorry. You want? I don't know, man. Like, I guess just D.Va's decent enough on the map. I don't know. Maybe it's the Ram stuff. Alcad wants to prevent. I have no idea. All right, here we go. We got the tanks wrong. Both fighting on the long angle space for their Freya. But if you get there first, it is difficult to walk uphill. Simple just freaking dies. TVNT also freaking dies. And that's that. I will say that in these initial first fights, you do like having the bubbles and the damage a little bit first. As things expand, Hazard can kind of apply his movement here. Why no ball? Because these guys don't know how to play ball. I think ball's fine here. Ball's good here. But yeah. All right, here we go. Who are we going for?
The trade-off is that if
I don't know, man.
she's used both
Is this for qualification? This isn't for qualification, right? This is just for seeding, right? Wait, did he knock her down? Okay, he didn't.
But you don't really have the sight lines that allow for this. So a lot really rests on Quartz getting consistent damage into the Zarya outside of those bubble windows and then collapsing on
Okay, yeah, just seeding. Okay.
Also, Suzu exists to give it that invulnerability frame. I just think it's a very difficult
Yeah.
matchup. This is very
Yeah, I don't know.
But like, what should they do here?
Not second guessing the hazard pick, of course, but it does feel as if the mobility hasn't been as useful. Like Ziad has just been able to stay engaged for a long time.
Maybe trying to ram here early.
So this is not good news for Twisted Minds. Now, there are some points that are going to have more verticality for Hazard, a little bit, but not a very promising start. Hey, Loof.
So, you know, this is a good example that you can obviously play to Kiriko with, you know, Lucio Kiriko.
Angle max, Freya on the flank. Has to be careful with Tracer. Tracer's with the Freya. Block is used early. Kitsune, they need to wall and disengage. They do wall and disengage, but they still have to touch point because they don't want to lose the point. But Hazard should be freaking dead here. And Hazard is freaking dead. They actually layered beat on top of that, on top of the Kitsune, which, you know, it's fine to guarantee first point cap. I don't think it's a huge issue. And you still have your Grav, and Grav is really nice at consistency. So you can Grav, force beat, and often still live afterwards, and then you just play off of the charge there. So obviously you use 2 for 1, but not the end of the world.
Just a speed ring there. Okay, now I'm gonna swap. So
Yeah, 4 ults for sure. But there was also 2 from TM, and
we'll see now.
I don't think Alcat's going to be super upset with that.
With a little bit more space with some of these points, like the Zarya still.
Yeah, I don't think Zarya versus Hazard's a great matchup for the Hazard if there's not enough space for Hazard. That's kind of my point, right? It's like, is there enough space for Hazard? That's the catch Grav, what we talked about. He doesn't have a bubble, though, which is kind of a bummer. But is he just not going to need it? Odd. Felt like he should have needed a bubble there. The ult is used there, but they're not going to even be able to get the punish on that. They do get the punish, but it's really expensive. And that's kind of what I talked about, right? Like, that's 1, 2 ults for 1, and then if they can get out, I think get Ziad out, he's going to be able to maintain his charge. And he is going to oh, no. Calyx freaking dies? Oh, this is huge. Oh, my gosh. That was so unfortunate from Alcat. They should have been able to disengage that. Why am I talking in that accent? That sucks. That is a huge stagger there. Really well done for TM there. A cage there would have been crazy, true.
Basically this kind of tank shell head to head, and Twisted Minds able to come out on top. So
Kitsune rush for Kitsune rush here, Freya ult for Freya ult, pulse for pulse, and this is just going to come down to the Graviton surge versus this Hazard connect. Or more importantly, do other people connect really? Because Hazard and Zarya are going to be kind of spectating here. Early engage, Kitsune is used, Kitsune is mirrored, Freya ult, disengage, Hazard is low, no block used, Freya is traded, Pulse is used, Pulse is bubbled, Ziad is 1,000 degrees right now, and that's it. I don't think it was bad there from TM. That's a really awkward spot for TM to be, or for Alcat to be, and they managed to hold on, so well played. He became Hazard. Alright, Alcat with the layers out the gills here, because you're going to have beat advantage, and then you're also going to have charge advantage as well, which is going to give you a small advantage in the neutral. They're going to flip the map. Tracer's cleared early, but that connect onto Lebda is scary. Beats had to use. It does hit everybody, but TM has nothing to kind of layer on top, so that's going to be all she wrote. Not a bad job there by TM. They almost got Lebda there early. The Hazard perk for distance really putting in work there to reach that far. But the question is, are they going to be able to get a touch? And the answer, they should be able to, but that late death from TVNT is awkward. He does not hit waves respawn, so he's about 4 seconds late, which is a big deal in these moments. And Checkmate is hunting Tracer. They need to force blinks from Tracer now. Tracer's actually playing with her team, so they're going to take an early engagement here, and so they might even just let them flip the point and just take the engagement elsewhere. Checkmate gets recall forced early somehow. That's bad. That's really bad, and so he gets picked off, and as long as that Tracer shuffles to touch, okay, huge grab. Huge grab. Huge. That's all they needed. Should be fine from here. Oh no, Quartz commits as well. Wait, Quartz kills 2? All quiet on the western front, but we're okay. Wow, huge. Yeah, Alcat clutches it up. Hazard stuff is not working, man. I don't think TVNT is playing it poorly at all, but yeah, there's the swap. Like, there just hasn't been enough mobility value there at all. And so TM struggling here. We're going to mirror. They have the layers. They have the support ult advantage. They have the pulse bomb. So we're kind of requiring on Alcad to get a little bit of an early initial advantage here. We'll probably see Kitsune for Kitsune, and then probably a beat layered on top of that. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's not what you want to see. That buys more time, obviously, but even gives us opportunity to even out the situation here. They don't even have to use a support ult there.
And this will start the push for Twisted Minds. Got everything to work with too in terms of those.
Zarya Menace made me really sad. Yep.
I want to see what Psycho
Yep. I was wrong about the Venture perk, but I was not wrong about the Zarya perk. Kitsune is used. Kitsune is layered. Will they use a beat? Beat should be coming in. There it is. And they use that to connect onto Lebda. Yeah, that's the problem with the Freya. So the problem with the Freya, and the reason why she's sometimes not always favored in some of these matchups, is that her matchup versus Zarya is much better than Sojourn. But she doesn't have, especially without the double slide, she just doesn't have the mobility to disengage. She just doesn't. Like, people vastly overestimate Freya's mobility in terms of actually disengaging and moving. Ooh. Rat fight. Huge. They knew about the beat advantage. They go for the Ajax, and they get the kill instead. This game is over. This game is over. Unless that pulse hits, it does not. Kelix has to do the rollout of his life for it to matter. And if Ziad dies here, the beat is used. He does get the beat off, though. The wave comes in. What a clutch fight. Can TVNT live this? The answer should be yes. And they get the flip. But that's exactly what Twisted Minds needs. They just need time. And they get the time. Any grab here is outside of maybe the Zarya is a death sentence. Quartz gets picked on the off angle. Lebda clutching up. Bubbles used to catch. TM's in a really bad spot now because now our momentum is completely shifted and there's opportunity for Alcad to get stragglers. Kitsune is used. Or built, sorry. Freya ult, built. Pulse bomb, built. Ziad's even up the grab charge. Unbelievable clutch stall there from Alcad. That should have been over. And I would have actually liked to see TM press their advantage harder there. Beat grab is huge, sorry. Grab is used in response. Kitsune for Kitsune. Kirikos are traded, but the Kitsune rush is too much an advantage. And as long as we get Quartz here, and we do, a little bit of an annoying flip there, but shouldn't be the end of the world. Alcad should still, our team should still have time for a touch here pretty comfortably. So it's going to really come down to this Kitsune rush and Pulse Bomb. It's going to be a bit of a hairy touch, so we'll see. They're going to try to get Freya in the rotation, and they do. Perfectly done from both the Tracer. That's a decent Freya ult. It's going to do the job. Pulse Bomb's layered on top. Bubble shuts down both ults, so you hate to see that. Recall's used. Suzu's used. Beat layering instead, and TM's going to put the nail in the coffin there. That's so unfortunate. Both ults shut down by a bubble. It's like if Block Slop was a little more thoughtful. Unfortunate. Okay, so Alcad misses their opportunity to shut the nail in the coffin here. TM has held in to live another day. Support ult layering in Alcad's favor, but it's going to be some time, and in theory here, depending on how fast this fight goes, there will be a brief window where beat advantage is not going to matter. Lebda's low. Off-angle controlled by Checkmate, unsupported. He is looking at the Tracer. He knows the Pulse Bomb's there, so his recall is forced early, though, and so there's a miscommunication about where the fight's going to be happening. So now Psycho does have that lane for free. Left side, Freya Bolt hits. Time to restabilize. Beat on a ticking timer. 10 seconds before beat. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Posture for beat. Beat is used. Zarya is isolated. That's all the bubbles. Zarya should die. Suzu comes in clutch. Nothing to layer on top. TVNT dies. Really well played by Alcad there, not only to push off of the beat, but also to deny the off angle from Psycho, who had Pulse Bomb at the same time. And Alcad pretty cleanly wins that one. Obviously, you used beat for nothing, but you win the fight, and you will always take that. As well, here with the map control, there is a much easier time playing around support ults on this point. There's more verticality, there's more off angles, there's more cover. You can do a better job disengaging. And as we already said, is Zia can get grab. Grab is essentially a support ult and how it functions because it allows you to stabilize pushes. It's not just, it gets a pick. It also just can stop or slow pushes. So if Zia can get this grab, then we're going to have a solution for the slight ultimate support ult disadvantage that TM, or Alcad rather, will be going into with this fight. I guess the question is Funny Astro's ult even going to matter here? Katuna is used. Katuna is going to be used in response. Grab for grab potentially, but the grab is used a little bit first. It does catch a lot more in response, though, is the problem. And they're going to layer Freyr ult on top of that, Freyr, I say. And ultimately, the Alcad tempo there, if I dare say use the term, the speed, the grouping, the NA hive mind that they utilize there, even though it catches the Zarya off guard, they walk into 3 different angles and lose to a Graviton Surge. They got the grab off first. They killed the Zarya first. The problem, they gave up every off angle to do it and end up giving a 3 or 4 man grab. Twisted Minds clutches it out, and now we've got a situation where the beat advantage might actually be relevant. 63% on Kellex. Depending on how this fight goes, there may not be time for Kellex to actually get this off. Really important that they're winning the off angle wars here. More support, more focus on that Tracer. The only way we can win is to connect with the Tracer, to connect with backline, to force resources. It looks like Checkmate is going to go unchecked on the backline. Will he be able to force a resource there? It looks like he's getting marked at the moment by Psycho, but Psycho doesn't have a lot of resources right now. That recall is early. That's buying Alcad a lot of time and preventing TM from going for the beat engage. That beat engage is used. The problem is that the distance is a long way, and that's exactly what they need to be able to restabilize after that initial beat push. So if Kellex can live here, he does. Zarya's traded. Bubble catches the Freya bolt, and the angles could really go either way, guys. Oh, what a clip. Ah! And really, that all starts with Checkmate winning that off-angle trade, which pulled so many resources, it really meant the team was not in a position to press W there. That's it. That's it. Really, really, really patient macro play from Alcad there. Checkmate wins the duel. Psycho's in his own backline. Aster's in his own backline. There's zero... There's, like, they have to run the entirety of the point to connect. And TM cannot shake the curse, man. They cannot shake the Map 5 curse. Cager, thank you for the sub. Appreciate the 18 months. How are you? So Alcad win the tank rock paper scissors strat stuff. They just weren't able to get hazard value at the big end, and Alcad just is able to clutch it up at the end.
Being able to play that Zarya pretty much all throughout, just kind of farming, man. 30 and 5, a dominant.
Really well played. So again, to clarify what I mean, so you are going at a support ult disadvantage. So, and you have pulse bomb. So you need to win the lanes. And the reason why is because you need to make sure that when the enemy team uses beat, you can disengage without getting pincered. All right? So Checkmate goes on the angle. I get some resource, gets the health backs, whatever, forces Psycho back to his backline. Because Psycho misuses his resource. So that duel was really important. I wish we had more footage of that. Because of that, Psycho is no longer in a position to push backline. I mean, heck, a lot of Twisted Minds was on the back foot there. None of them were really in a position to push forward with their beat. So what happens? Alcad back, because all the threats are coming from one angle. And then that buys them just enough time to be able to build up their own beat, like down to the second. So, yeah, I mean, really, Alcad knew exactly what they needed to do there. Very, very well played. They knew the situation. They knew the fight situation really well, and they clutched it out there. So, is it possible to get pro match replay codes? I think on the Face It website, somebody was doing it. Sarah was doing it for us last week. So, I think so. It's well done. I think the criticism of mitigate block slop are more to do with if mitigation. For me, it's more to do with how frequent mitigation can be available in terms of how effective that mitigation is available. So like Winston is extremely effective mitigation, but it's available infrequently. Reinhardt has ineffective mitigation that's available frequently. You get what I'm saying? So I think the block slop, whether it's Zarya, Ram, Hazard, is just how powerful that mitigation can be and how frequently it is available. It's balanced through other resources. It doesn't mean that it's not balanced. It just means that there's not as many windows of vulnerability, I guess is kind of what people are complaining about. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's not as many windows of threat, but there's not as many windows of vulnerability either. Whereas you look at like a Junker Queen without Shout, or a Junker Queen in the open, or a Winston without Bubble, you know, and you're talking about heroes that are just going to be generally a lot more punishable. But that's a very hard thing to do. So the bigger problem with Zarya is that in metas like this, you're not really bubbling anybody else most of the time, or if you are, it's like a super high value bubble. So there is really just both bubbles for yourself, and no, it is not 360 degrees, no. So that was a good match. We love that. That was a good match. I really don't like either of their teams' compositions. Those teams definitely are block slot teams. They always have been, which is why I've never really enjoyed watching them. But it was a good match, at least, you know. It was a good match. I'll always take a good match, you know. For those of you guys who may not follow OWCS as much, those two teams are very much like push-pull, Lucio, Ram, Zarya, stuff like that. So what map do we want the code for? Well, I have to go. I have a Halloween party I have to go for. I have to go to. Maybe I'll post. I actually can't post the pictures because the outfit I think I'm wearing on stream next week. So I can't spoil. But yeah. Short stream today. Short stream today. Did the raid thing go through? Wait, what the frick? Okay, I thought I did raid. No, I didn't. Okay. Goodbye. Goodbye, YouTube. Goodbye, Twitch. I'll see you guys later. I can, maybe Sarely. I'll see. All right, love and kisses, guys. I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Have a good rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of the matches. And I will see you guys later. Spider up.